So today came about literally just around a conversation where Macmillan came down and saw us and said, Andrew, we need some help. And I said, what kind of help do you need? And they said, listen, we need to get into the BME community to have those conversations that are not being had in our borough. So yeah, we managed to pull this off in about 6.5 weeks, which is just incredible. Normally it takes us about 6 months to do something like this, but we've managed to do this in 6.5 weeks with a lot of help from a lot of people.
A conference like this is so important because it brings people together. We've had a whole myriad of people living with cancer, organisations coming together to talk to each other, which never happens. In a day-to-day life where we just spend lots of time digitally and talking lots on Teams and Zoom, it's important that we spend the time actually seeing people face-to-face, learning what different organisations are doing and what support and services are out there available to people living with cancer.
But I really knew that Croydon was a special place for the first time a few years ago when I was invited to a meeting at Croydon Council at 4 o'clock on the last Friday before Christmas in the pouring rain. And I really thought, why am I going? No one's going to be there. You know, why would people come out on that last Friday at 4 o'clock? And I turned up at the council offices and they were completely deserted. And then they took me to this room and it was absolutely packed with organisations from Croydon who wanted to come together and wanted to talk about cancer and what they could do to support the people of Croydon.
Some of us probably are not very confident or not able to use the IT system like myself. Sometimes we need to have people or advocate to go with you to the doctor, to the consultants, and to talk to. And that is why the Nurses Association of Jamaica UK, the Caribbean Nurses Association, and many of the other associations are there to be your friends and your partners and your advocates.
So we're here today to obviously be part of this great event in support of cancer, particularly the impact that cancer has on BME people, and to really raise awareness of our services and the support, because what generally tends to get overlooked sometimes is the impact on young people's mental well-being, either because somebody in their family may be going through or having experienced cancer, or even they themselves as a young person, because that also gets overlooked as well.
So we're here to let the community know about all of the support that Macmillan can provide, both on a national level. So there's lots of support that's out there via the online community, as I said, the kind of wider national support, but also on a very localised level to let people know about support groups and all of the local charities and services that we can signpost people to who are living with or affected by cancer.
I think the response has just been incredible. People are actually coming to talk to us about their experiences of cancer, whether it's with their loved ones or themselves, and you know, they've been at the table getting some of the books for support. They've picked up a lot of our core support cards, so it's been really good.
What's clear is that cancer does not discriminate, and that's something I picked up from Anton this morning at the table. So he was picking stuff up, I was picking stuff up too. Cancer does not discriminate, and yet we seem to have discrimination, whether it's deliberate or not, in the way that cancer is supported within our communities.
So my title was Ethnic Disparities, and we want to break down the disparities. We want to make sure there's equality across all sectors in healthcare, and my talk was very much about why is there a disparity and how we can improve outcomes for all of our black and ethnic minority groups across Croydon. I feel really privileged. I didn't realise this was the very first BME event, and the takeaway is together we can achieve so much more rather than as individuals.
The first initial thought was death, like I'm gonna die. There's no one who will be there for my child. Obviously with no history or information about, I always thought that breast cancer was for the older woman. So hearing that I had it was just like, how is this even possible?
Telling my story in front of everyone, it was a bit nerve-wracking, I must admit. It's my first time doing a conference kind of setting, telling my story. So it was a bit nerve-wracking. But then the nerves kind of slid away afterwards. So it's very, I would say, it's like talking to friends. So very comforting and very welcoming as well.
And then the doctor said to me, like, I've got some news to tell you. I had this lump that was growing in the side of my neck, and they did a biopsy me. And then he sat me down and he said, Luke, I've got something to tell you. Mind this, I'm 19 years old. I'm like, okay, yes, this is just some sort of infection that I've got, and it's fine, it's going to be all right, nothing to worry about. And then I see the look on his face. I see the shift in the aura and the mood. And he says, look, Luke, you've got leukemia.
Honestly, it was really uplifting. It felt for me like it was something that I needed to do for sure, like something that I've always wanted to do. And the thing is, I've just never done it. You know, I've never kind of put myself out there to talk about my story. And I think today, when I did talk about my story, it really kind of, I think it did help people, but it also helped me a lot as well. Kind of get rid of a lot of the stress of wanting to always do it, but never doing it. And now that I've done it, kind of makes me want to do more.
It was quite a bit daunting, you know, but I also felt that I had a message I want to dispatch to people. There's life after prostate cancer. It's not a death sentence.
One of the things that a lot of the people spoke today was about the stigma with them and the doctors, and maybe not being understood properly from their doctors. And I think that is something that we're going to really need to decide or work on, is how can we maybe fill a place like this, but with doctors, so that when they speak to people of colour, they don't just maybe push them to a side. They say, actually, this is a good way to do it. Or, do you know you can go to the BME Forum? Did you know you can go to ARCC? Do you know you can get all of this help rather than being seen as maybe being pushed away or not being taken seriously, which is very, very important.
I don't think as a doctor you are in a hospital as a doctor and outside you're not. You are somebody who serves people, and people will not always be in your hospital or in your clinic. They can be outside, they can be on a roadside, they can be in a setting like this. And people will have concerns that they may only want to talk to you in private somewhere like this and not necessarily come to hospital. So I would like to say I'm comfortable with people coming and talking to me about things that I can help them with. If I can't, I will try and signpost them to where they can be. I don't think myself as just a doctor in one setting. I'm always going to be a doctor. I've taken an oath to help people. So yeah, if somebody needs help, I'll help them as much as I can.
Just having the nurses here, having doctors here listening, I'm hoping that will make a change, yeah? Once again, you know, the doctors and the nurses, they were only meant to be here for 2 hours to come and do a workshop. They ended up being here for literally 4 or 5 hours because they said, you know, they were cancelling meetings, having meetings in the room over there because they wanted to be here to listen to the people on the panel. But not also the people sitting around as well, because there were conversations in all of the workshops and they were going and listening. So I'm really, really, really hoping that they will hear something different and start to make some change within their settings and further afield as well. So Judith, who was our keynote speaker, I think she was actually the first survivor I actually spoke to. And when I spoke to her and she just told me her story, and she's the one who said, Andrew, I don't need to speak. I just want to be, I don't mind if I'm here picking up rubbish, etc. I just want to be in this atmosphere. And I said, no, man, after hearing her story, I said, I need you to be up there speaking.
Oh, my name's Judith Nepshaw, and I'm the founder of From Me to You, The Art of Survival. And what that is that we have created a support group for the black community. And what we do is we deal with a cancer diagnosis from the very beginning to the end, shall we say, whether you'll be in remission or whether it relates to palliative care. We are there to support. We help to raise awareness. We provide information because we truly believe that knowledge is power, and that we are there to empower the community so that you know what your rights are, you know how to access relevant services, and hopefully that you will survive the diagnosis if you ever receive a cancer diagnosis. We're there to help you to live.
It is an extremely important issue and one that impacts so many of us from all walks of life. And even when I first saw it, the "Can you see me?" Because, you know, I can imagine some of the conversations that you've had today, and that is very much the impact of cancer. It is about, can you see me? It's about whether or not we are comfortable discussing what happens with that diagnosis journey
There's a lady who came up to me right at the end and she said, Andrew, I need to see you. And I was taking pictures and, you know, with Rob and everyone. And I said, just give me 2 minutes. And she just stood there. I went over to her and when she said, I've been diagnosed 3 weeks ago and she hasn't told anyone. Yeah, she says she hasn't told anyone. So not even her daughter, which is incredible. So I went and got Anton, who's the manager for Macmillan, and we was able just to speak to her as well and just guide her on what to do and who to see. So if anything from today, it was to see that lady and to make sure that she knows that there's people who can talk to her and guide her through her operations. I'm not even going to say the date because she might be watching this as well, but her operation is in the next two weeks. So hence why she said she wanted to come today just to see. But for her to reveal that to myself, you know, is why we've done today. So hopefully those conversations will continue going forward as well.
Right, my name's Beryl St James, and I've lost 4 of my sisters to cancer. And my message is, don't sit there and worry, check it out. Because sometimes you'll have symptoms that look innocuous, but in actual fact, if you get it checked, you can get it caught and get it sorted a lot quicker, rather than sit there and worry about it.
What I take away from today is lots of people want to do the right thing. Lots of people want to do the most positive things. Together, we are a force in dealing with this word cancer, because cancer will eat away at you mentally. That's the biggest challenge. You have to deal with it physically, but it's how you deal with the word cancer mentally that is the key to how you cope with it.
My takeaway from today's conference is we need to do it again. So many people today in Croydon has told me that this conference has meant that they've taken away information and support. Why not do it again? Why not have the time? Why not be questioned by people about what they need as people living with and affected by cancer? We need to do more of it. We need to come around in tables like this and really push the agenda forwards of cancer. So my takeaway from this is to continue to fund these sorts of initiatives so we can get right out into the community, share the message and get more people supported by Macmillan that are going through cancer treatment or have been affected by cancer in their lifetime.
I am exhausted, I am, but I've still got a smile on my face. But as I said, just to see over 200 people today, and you know, once again, I have to thank you to all my staff as well. You know, they all put in an extra shift as well. So, and just thank you to Macmillan and for everyone who came. You know, the feedback's been amazing. I'm looking forward to reading all the feedback and putting the report together. But yeah, just thank you to everyone who came, and yeah, looking forward to 2023 and see what happens then.